Good morning again. This is Dr. Bill White, and I'm going to talk to you a little about some very mild Class 3 cases that I think it ought to be simple for an early training person to be able to do these Class 3 or cases like this. Now, I'm a general dentist, but I've done nothing but orthodontics for the last about 45 years, and I did orthodontics prior to that when I first started, but gradually worked into it before I just limited my practice to nothing but orthodontics. I'm a member of the American Orthodontic Society, and they kind of sponsor this in a way, and this is an excellent organization. And if you're a general or pediatric dentist, don't think you don't need to be in a organized society to help and support you and do all sorts of things for you. And you get a journal, an annual meeting, and we have an excellent group of instructors that can help you in many, many ways. So anyway, I promote them very much and want to push that organization. Now, this Class 3 case is very mild, and it won't take us but just a little bit to run through this. And this is where a person is just let me go back here. This is a very mild Class 3. In other words, it's just a super Class 1 over here, but then it begins to go back, and they've got a crossbite over on this side, right in this area, and the other side's a little bit of a crossbite. Let me go back and look at it before. Now this side is just a good Class 1, really. Well, maybe a little Class 3 in the molar area. That should come down here. Now, I see this a lot on adults, and there's no need of changing if they're ground in and the teeth are worn in to this point. Don't think you have to have them exactly perfect. Now the cuspid looks real good. Then we drop into this crossbite here on the lateral. It won't be a big deal there. Now go to the other side, and we're kind of a super Class 1 here. See, this tooth ought to kind of come up more like that. And this is a little bit further forward, not bad. Now this one is just right. It's hard to get every tooth in there. There's tooth size discrepancy, but you'll have them close, and then they wear in. Now, but you're going to have to expand this a little bit to get it over and jump the crossbite. Now this is not a difficult case, and so when a lot of people say, well, we don't want to train people to do orthodontics and just leave the Class 3 stuff alone. Well, it's all right to leave the complicated things like some of the others that we've shown until you really learn how to do it, and I promote that too. But then don't feel like you're, because you're a general dentist or because you're a pediatric dentist, that you should never touch a Class 3. This is wrong. You can get pretty darn good at it, and you can learn to do anything comes across the board as far as that goes. All right, we'll go through this. There's 2 or 3 other little things in it that we'll do too. Rarely do you get a case that just has one problem. So anyway, this is the model, and that's kind of what we're going to do to correct the Class 3. And when you look at it from up above, it's no big problem that I see it here. This will come out, and that crossbite will just bring that out over here, just expand it some, and come in over on the other side. Now, a lot of these class 3s, you have to do a genioplasty or once in a while, not that often. And but we did a genioplasty on this lady where you take the chin button back. Now here she's got some, whoops, to go back to that, she's got some rather large tori in there. That thing goes back every time I touch the screen. So she's got some large tori in the mouth. Let me see, something's going wrong here. Let me get that thing back up there. Something happened to my little button over here. I'll have to get it back on there. Alright. Now these tori, you'll need to take them off. Now, when I was a student in dental school, this was a long time ago, about 1953 and 54, towards my last part of the school, my father had some big tori back here on his jaws, and you go in and loosen the gum tissue around that tori. Right here, you just loosen it around here, and you lay the tissue back, and then you have to go in and grind that thing off, and it is a pain. And how they let me do that on my own father is kind of a shaky thing. You couldn't, a student, they wouldn't let him do that at all nowadays, I'm sure. But anyway, I ground those things off, then brought the tissue back up and sewed it back in here, and it cleared this area up. Now these are just benign tumors, and they don't amount to anything. You can cut them out of there. But when you peel the tissue off of them, they look like a knot on a peeled log or something. Now these tori do crowd the tongue, so they make the tongue push on this harder. So the tori probably are one of the causes for the class 3. In other words, your tongue's short of room in here, so the tongue pressure would be greater, and it probably was one of the contributing factors for expanding the lower teeth. So taking the tori off and bringing the teeth back was okay, but we needed to bring the teeth back quite far, quite a good bit, so we took this one, the left central out, and I usually do one of the other centrals on cases where we just take one tooth out like that on a simple case. So anyway, I'll erase all that. We've got, this is a problem here on these. This crossbite is a problem right there, and then the genioplasty is another problem, and then the class 3. So it's very rare that you get only one, but this is a relatively simple case to do, and so if you learn to do orthodontics and get pretty good at it, then you could possibly do this. You might want to get a surgeon nowadays to take this off, but if you're out in Timbuktu or someplace and they don't have a surgeon, you can do that. I did it as a dental student, and of course I worked as a missionary for a good long while. I ran 2 dental clinics in Africa, and we did everything under the sun. there was absolutely nobody there to do it if you didn't do it. So you might be called on to do something like this. Okay, let's go on through the rest of this. Now here is the lady, but this is after we finished. And you see we have trimmed this chin button off right here and brought that back underneath. The chin protruded out here some, and she didn't like that. So, and if people want their face however they want it, if they want to go through a genioplasty, fine. They can do this from just in the mouth. They don't have to cut out inside or outside at all. They just trim this thing off and bring this back and usually sew it back up there, wired back where it grows together. You can see where there's with some wire sutures in there, and you can leave it. Alright, there it was originally, and it left this button sticking out there, you see. So she didn't like that, but I didn't mind it. But if they want it, well, they can do the genioplasty. Now here's, in doing this case, I'll tell you, if she'd had a wisdom tooth back in here, we would have extracted that thing and brought that tooth up and filled that in and bring this one back in here. And if this is bad or they're missing, don't ever pull a wisdom tooth. Bring this forward. We've showed you how to bring the root structure up and parallel it. But somebody had already taken that out, and that's fine. You'll have to take care of this tooth better all your life. And there now they come in and take out this left central right in here, and we'll bring that together. And here we go again. Now you can see the wire structure in there holding that down. And here's the lady after we got through with it. And sorry this was a long time ago and got a little mess on that slide. But we've got the teeth underneath now, a nice smile line. I think that may be, no, that's not the, now she didn't want the little button out here. I would have left that if I were her, but that was her decision. And so if somebody wants to do it, then you can go ahead and do it, or I tell them, you know, I don't feel it necessary, but some people are very particular about the way they look there. So anyway, here are the teeth. Now the right central is right dead center. See, right down through there. And you got a little space here, but not much. You need to keep that cleaned out. But it worked out nice, you see. These teeth are fitting in good class 1 relation. She's got an overbite and overjet, and she can bring her jaw forward out here and close and cut stuff off like people normally would. She's not an edge-to-edge person. Some of this was tooth size discrepancy, and some of it was caused, I think, by those big tori that were back in here. Anyway, this is a relatively simple case, and you'd want a surgeon to do the genioplasty, unless you're better than I am at it. And if you're out in the jungle trying to do this, I wouldn't do the genioplasty. And line those teeth up, get everything, and Lacey's got a beautiful smile, and if she takes care of them right, she can have these teeth the rest of her life. So that's what we're after, long-term, good, comprehensive orthodontics. I don't want any junk orthodontics. Now here's the retainer, and this is a wraparound retainer. I don't want anything crossing over the occlusion. They bite on the wire when they've got it in there, and they don't when they take it out, unless you do a lot of grinding. That's going to be there. And this can be made to stay in the mouth. I don't care what they say. I can fix these where you can't hardly take them out as far as that's concerned. And that's under retention if you want to learn about that. And this is the kind of a super class 1. We didn't do anything to these teeth right in here in adults. Just leave that. We fix this properly out here. So adults that are real far along, especially if they're worn in right here, we don't mess with this part. We just correct the anterior portion of it. And I've got another case or two I think maybe we'll show. Alright, this is the other side of the mouth. Same thing. And up above, now we built a retainer that goes in here, and this wire will go around. That's an 036 round stainless steel wire. It comes from way over here, goes out to this part right. Well, actually we bring it up here, didn't we? Take this loop and bring it back and solder these together about where the 6-year molar is. And you can see where we do that. And this is a good retainer. It allows the teeth to come together all the time. It has a bite plate that keeps it from deepening any more than that. And if they'll wear this retainer and keep the bottom straightened out, some the 3 to 3, the teeth should be that way from now on. So let me see what if we got the lower. There's the upper. You see she's wearing it pretty good. And they stay with that. They can, but if they lose it for a week or so and put it back and force wear it, it'll bring the teeth back to place if they've moved out of position. Now the lower, I don't show any bonded thing on here, but I would recommend bonding something on the back of these teeth. You can run sometimes up on the bicuspid even and hold all this in place for years. But you have to use dental floss here to clean these teeth. That's kind of a drawback of that, but that's real good. But that type of retention, it'll hold this thing all their life. Okay, let's see. Now there's the tooth. Now on a lady like this, you see, we put the bracket on this tooth out here, and we ground it down a little bit and got it about that wide, you see. And then we pull it out and work pretty good and get that together. And we took these tori out after that. So you can grind that tooth down to keep from showing this crack any longer than you have to, and pull this together, you see. And now you reduce this tooth in dimension and get these teeth right over here by that. And now you extract this, and that's the tooth coming out. It's smaller than the space is there now. Just some little tricks to make the aesthetics better. And so that's where we started from. And well, I'd have to go back to look at the case after we finished. But here's where we ended up. So hope you learned something from this simple video. This is something that somebody that just hadn't been into orthodontics too long can do, and hope you do that. Just because you call it class 3 doesn't mean you can't do this. So I'm gonna hush and appreciate your tuning in, and appreciate you looking at the other videos. And think about the American Orthodontic Society. If you're a general or pediatric dentist and doing orthodontics, get in the American Orthodontic Society. It's the best place that I know of you should be, and I certainly promote that. They have a good journal and everything. So I'm going to sign off. Bye-bye. Now we're going to stop this.